Hi, I'm Sonia, and I help people take their power back. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me and want me to call you on your BS, all of my coaching information is in the description below. Jack's finally moved between my little stand bench thing here and me and the couch, so we'll see how long that lasts. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? As always, I don't have a topic, so hi. Hi, Sonia. Any tips for manifesting weight loss? I mean, all manifestations are the same, so you need to take a look at what you think about your weight and about losing weight and dieting and exercise and the way your body looks, and you need to stop thinking what you currently think and tell yourself what you want to be true. And don't focus on checking the 3D and getting on the scale and being like, well, did this work or did that work? Should I do this? And what about this workout and that workout? Decide what you want to be true. Start telling yourself that that's true and let the answers that you need come to you. Oh my. Dog moans. What is on your... I always find treasures on you when we go live. It's silly. You are silly. But yeah, any kind of appearance change or weight loss or whatever, it's all manifesting anything is the same. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Hi, Moons. How am I? The dogs were amazing. I'm finding treasures on Jax again. I don't usually find treasures on him unless I'm going live, and then it's like, what the hell is in your leg, and what's on your head, and what's happening over here? How are you doing? Okay, thank you. I've been dieting and not seeing any results. I would take a look at my mindset. Are you... bless them. Yeah, it's always interesting around here. I would just take a look at my mindset because I remember, you know, back before understanding manifesting, doing a lot of diet and exercise shit and focusing on, I don't know if it's working. Am I doing it right? Maybe I need to, do more, and I'm checking the scale and it's not working and I'm not getting results. Instead of just assuming that it's working and that the weight's coming off really fast, or, pay attention to what you're thinking and then adjust it from there. I'm doing great as usual. Of course you are. I mean, Jasmine, you could revise it too. Just start telling yourself, I've seen, like, I'm losing the weight so fast. It happened so quickly. Start kind of revising it. Can't wait till New Year's Eve. I know it's close. So close. Oh my God, about revision. Have you been revising things? I just realized when we revise the past, we are changing timelines. All possibilities exist at the same time. And I know that sounds really, I don't know, hard to comprehend, but when you realize that it's all your thoughts and that whatever you focus on and tell yourself is true, it all exists because you could choose any of it. We revise an event, we go into a completely new timeline. Yeah, I get so many questions from people about revision and them being like, okay, I'm going to change it for me, but what about other people? And it's like, how exactly would that work? So it changed for you, but everyone else thinks it's the same. No. Now it makes a lot of sense for me. Awesome. I honestly don't know. Didn't know your thoughts played a part in losing weight, but I do now. Laugh out loud. Your thoughts are your entire experience. It is your entire reality. What you tell yourself is true about anything. Your thoughts are your experience. So if you're telling yourself, I'm not getting results, this isn't working, even though you're following all your plan perfectly, it doesn't matter what you're doing in the 3D because your mindset is it's not working and you have to be proven right. Like the story you mentioned with the lady who injured her leg, I think you were talking about a Neville story. Yeah. The revision story that Neville uses was I think it was a teacher. Somebody dropped a chair on their foot and went to bed and imagined it not happening. They put the chair back on the desk without it falling on their foot, and the next morning their foot was healed. Like it never happened. Hi. I know that's late, but Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I do love revision. I always use it. I'll be honest, I revise things as they come up. Like memories I've talked about, that never happened, that was a bad dream. I've not done a lot of revision of I did it like once of like kind of doing it of a past event and I did a video about it, but I forget I'm revising shit. I don't it that for some reason my brain's just like it's easier for me to just deal with shit as it comes up. But I do feel like I'm going to start doing some more revision cuz I do want to experience it and like cuz people ask me about it all the time. But the things I've revised, I do it on the spot and it's like I don't even remember what they were, literally. So it's like I know it doesn't bother me anymore, but I couldn't tell you what it was, if that makes sense. Yep, just do what feels right for you. I agree. I agree. If it helps you to, do it Neville's way and imagine the event and then imagine it happening a different way or I think the thing that I took the most from understanding that revision is possible, just the possibility of it is your thoughts. And so if you can change your thoughts, of course you can change your thoughts about the past. And if whatever you tell yourself is true, has to be mirrored back to you. And all the people around you have to prove you right, because everyone is who you think they are and is thinking what you think they're thinking. Feel like my mindset is expanding a lot, so I feel like things that were impossible are very possible. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The awareness of just I think it's the awareness and then having more and more success with it and understanding like, no, this is how it actually works and how it works for me. Neville used to say he did one specific thought at a time. Do you think he's just giving you an option or really saying that's how it is? One specific thought. I know you said it's about what's best for you, but I still wonder about that. Neville never talked about one specific thought at a time. Neville was all about like your imagination and visualization. So I don't even know what you're talking about from Neville. Now I'm not the like most well educated on Neville, but I will stand by take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because just because it worked for Neville doesn't mean it's best for you. Know that it may be stupid, but I've changed my voice probably because of the LOA. It's now quiet, deep, and slightly raspy voice. My friends noticed that today because we had a video call. That's funny. Did you do that intentionally or did it just kind of happen? And I'm open to receiving things at a bigger level. I saw a story where a lady revised her childhood home and it was completely different when she visited it. That this kind of story I would look at and laugh, but I exactly believe it's possible. Yeah, the more that you experience it and understand it and do it, the more you're like, yeah, those crazier stories, you're like, yeah, that I completely believe it. Because because I have come to understand that if I desire, imagine, it is possible. Yeah, you can't desire something that's impossible. I agree. Which in the beginning is hard to understand. Maybe it's not the word specifically. I'll try to find it. Yeah, I'm like, I have no idea what that is in reference to from Neville. I'm just open minded now. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a 20-year-old guy, so probably it wasn't a natural change. So for me, it's nice and funny change. Hey, as long as you're happy with it, run with it. And if you're like, I wish my voice was different and like this, just tell yourself that's how your voice is and it'll change. Jack's left and is now rolling around and making sounds in his bed. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Sir. In manifesting miracles, question number 5, was it possible to imagine several things at a time, or should I confine my imagination to one desire? Answer was, personally, I like to confine my act to a single thought, and he goes on about it. I have no idea. I would. It works however you think it works. Whatever is good for you and whatever you want to do will work for you if you tell yourself that it works. It sounds like you are looking for the reason that the way that you think it would work for you won't work for you. But I will start taking what resonates. Yeah. It seems like it doesn't matter. It only matters if you think it does. It's not like we can just ask Neville what he meant by that. If you want to learn more, like, about Neville in particular, it's like, who talks a lot about Neville? I guess Joseph Ally talks a lot about Neville. And who's the other one? What is his name? It's Elmer O'Locker Jr.? Is that who it is? I literally turned, when I got on YouTube to go live, one of his shorts of his grandfather, who actually worked with Neville, came on, and he talks a lot about Neville. I just hear coaches saying that you can do multiple, and then I go back to the books and they say different. Do you think we're just evolving? I do. And I also think that Neville was doing what worked for him, and all he could teach from was his experience. So, whatever you think works, works. Yeah. I agree. I also, it wouldn't surprise me if it is kind of an evolution, but back when Neville was teaching this shit, it wasn't as easy to connect with other people who were talking about this stuff. So he was truly just coming from his experience. As long as you think from the reality you want to be in, it doesn't matter the technique. I agree with that. Hi Zelda, I hope everyone had a great Christmas or day if you didn't celebrate Christmas. I did. Excuse me. I did. I hope you did too. Thank you for answering these questions. It really helps. Oh, you're welcome. And something else I don't think a lot of people realize when they start learning this shit is once you find a technique that works for you, you know what works for you. And it'll work for anything if you just adjust it to something different. And if you find, this one manifestation would be better done this way, again, it'll work for you if you tell yourself it does. I also think people want to get caught up on making it more complicated than it is. The law is whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Whatever you believe is true is true. If you want to change the belief, which is just your thoughts on autopilot, right? A belief is just a thought you think without having to think it because you thought it so much and accepted it as a fact in your world. So if you think something different until it becomes a belief, eventually that new belief will take over. But whatever you tell yourself is true is true. And however you want to change the belief, whether that be visualization or scripting or affirming, it all works. And that's why some people will swear upside down, backward, and sideways that this is the way you do it. And it's like, yeah, because that's what works for you. You can feel it in your brain when a thought becomes a belief. Yeah, you'll start to notice it. You're like, yeah, that. And that's what Neville was talking about, states. Your state is just what you tell yourself all the time. You're having thoughts all of the time, and if you are not shifting it to something else, you just get more and more of the same shit. Like when you affirm something unfamiliar, it can feel like you're forcing your brain to think it. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're like, I have no proof that this is true. This has never been true. Why would it ever be true? And your brain's throwing like every fucking reason at you why it's not true and it couldn't be true and why would it be true, and that's why you have to keep going back to it. Remind yourself, nope, that's not true anymore. This is what's true. Nope, that's not what's true anymore. This is what's true. Nope, I know I've never experienced it, but this is what's now true. Used to keep me in checking. I was like, wait a minute. I used to put alarms on every hour, used to keep me in check of what I was thinking. See? This is where I'm like, it takes practice to get good at paying attention to what you're thinking about and where your focus is. You're used to letting your brain do whatever the fuck it wants to. Now you're going to have it do something different, and it takes practice. Because my mind, especially in the beginning, wandered a lot. Yeah. And the more success you have with it, and the more you see the connection between your thoughts and your experiences and things changing and manifesting and all the things, like I always say, you can't unsee it. And then you do it more and more and more and more and more because you realize, oh shit, when I just let my brain do whatever the fuck it wants to, then those are the things that I get to experience because I'm not choosing something different. It's all a choice. Literally. You always have a choice of what you were going to think about and how you're going to think about things. I totally agree with the once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. And I know if you haven't seen it yet, that seems weird, but I swear to you, once you start to really see the connection and you really kind of, I don't know if accept is the right word, but accept the idea that what you tell yourself is true and your thoughts are your experience, and you start to experience it and see it for what it is, you're like, oh, fuck. Okay. I feel like that's part of the reason a lot of people talk about the matrix in regards to this kind of stuff, because it really is like once you take the pill, you can't go back. And that's also how your brain works. Your brain is designed to look for the evidence of the shit that you're telling yourself. But in the beginning, my mind tried to reject it by thinking it was a coincidence. Yup. I don't know if I've talked on here about it. But I know I have on TikTok quite a bit of you have to create the belief in manifesting. You have to decide that this shit is not a circumstance. But part of that is getting to that point where you're like, okay, How many fucking coincidences can I possibly be experiencing and still call it a coincidence? But if you always choose to call it a coincidence, guess what? That's what you're going to experience it as, because that's what you tell yourself. And it will be proven true. Do you tell yourself how fast you manifest? Do you tell yourself how fast you manifest? I just tell myself I have my shit and let the rest go. I focus on my mental diet personally. What am I thinking right now? Because I have found for me, the more I just focus on that and let the rest go, I'm happier. And at the end of the day, that's all I really want in the first place. If you want to manifest fast, tell yourself, affirm, I manifest fast. Yeah. Like I manifest instantly, or is that just extra? Whatever you want to be true is true if you tell yourself that it's true. So if you want to manifest instantly, you start telling yourself, I manifest instantly. And you keep telling yourself that, and you keep telling yourself that, and you keep bringing yourself back to that decision whenever you want to tell yourself, oh my God, I never get my, no, I manifest instantly. I manifest instantly. I've always manifested instantly. You can create any belief that you want to. And I don't know why you're like asking me how I like to live my life. That's up to you. Because you're always right if you're consistent with it. Exactly. I like to add, that's a fact. See? Literally, whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Whatever rules about manifesting you want to create for yourself, you can create. If you want to manifest instantly, you fucking tell yourself that that's how it works. But you ask specifically about me, and so I told you what I do. The moment you say you manifest fast, you're right. Just persist in that thought. Yeah. That is what is now true. I always manifest so fast. I've always manifested fast. But you can't bitch, whine, moan, and complain about how you never get your shit and how this is taking too long. But it can feel uncomfortable, but it doesn't take away from the fact you're right. That part. It can feel uncomfortable, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you're right. Whatever you're telling yourself in this moment is true and is a fact. Just because you cannot see it or are experiencing it in your physical world does not mean it is not a fact. And that's where you get wavering and hot and cold behavior and all that shit. Just getting all the questions out I've been having for months. You're good. At least now we are aware of what reality is. Yeah. I look back and I'm like, yeah, I had no idea. And I'm also like, but how did I never realize it? How did I never see or understand or question that my experience is what I tell myself it is? Because manifested, created, whatever you want to call it, a lot of bullshit. I ask myself that question. Well, I feel better knowing it's not just me because I'm like, man, but like, it's it's like it's so obvious once you see it though. How did I miss it? Especially being, learning about manifesting. It's like, okay, when I didn't know, I didn't know. But like, I always wondered if there was no internet, would I have figured this out? That's a really good question. I wonder what my experience would have been like if there wasn't the internet, because I first found out about vision boards from my therapist. And then I went straight to the internet to get more information. See, that's why we ended up in this reality where we do have the internet, though. Because I know I definitely didn't lack in the IQ department, but at the same time, what I know about this, yeah, I agree. Or what weird way would it have shown up? Like, what weird happenstance, oh, I took this class, or someone gave me this book, or I just happened to pick this book up, you know, someone gave me a box of books and I just decided to read through them, and, who knows? Probably would have met a mystic, yeah. It's totally possible. Because I definitely feel at home around the concept of the law of assumption. Me too. Me too. When I first found it, I was very in my law of attraction days, and I found somebody on TikTok talking about manifesting SPs. I was like, you can't do that. That's wrong. But something in me was like, okay. And as I went on in my law of attraction journey, things would happen. And in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, but if that person's right and this law of attraction shit is not so right, and or at least what I am being taught from this coach is not right because it's contradictory, I started to see it more and more because I'm like, again, the law, but I'm like, I started to question it because I found this other concept. And then once it clicked, I'm like, oh, I was talking to another coach about that last week where I'm like, I knew there was some kind of through all of it, and I couldn't figure out what it was because everyone's like, you can do this, but you can't do this, but everything's possible. And then it's like, oh, it's just your fucking thoughts. And there are no limits to what you can sit there and think about. I always loved that from my coach. Everything's possible. Well, I want I want this specific job. Well, you can't, there's nothing you can do to get that. You'll either get that or something better. I was like, okay, well, you just contradicted yourself with everything's possible because apparently the thing I want isn't possible. Yep, we can manifest anything. Anything. There is no limit. The only limit is our mind. That one. There are infinite truths. Yeah, no limits. Yep. Only you decide what's possible. Mm-hmm. Man, I was so that this or something better shit. I don't know about anybody else, but it stressed me out. It stressed me the fuck out. It's like, why would the universe know what I want better than I do? Never made sense to me. Only you decide what's possible because what's true for you is true. Everyone has a different reality. Yup. And what they believe is true for them is just as true as whatever you believe is true for you because people think different. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just like having memories of law of attraction days, and it's like, no wonder my anxiety didn't get better with all of that crap. And then I find law of assumption, start really doing the actual work to change me, and everything fell into place where it's like, my anxiety's good, which is a fucking miracle. This or something better was a gateway for a lot of money focused coaches. I agree. I agree. But also, it's like if that's what you believe and that works for you, then it works for you. But to me, it's just like, oh, I don't really know how to help you manifest exactly what you want. So, well, you'll either get that or something better. I agree. I found the law of assumption this year and it has blown my mind. It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it took me a minute to be open to it, but once I was, it's like, yeah, holy shit. A lot of coaches, even some law of assumption coaches, don't even understand the law fully. They use it for content to make money. Yeah, it gets views. It gets views, and they can put together some bullshit to sell. And it's like, I understand why people who are learning this and don't understand it, they don't know who to listen to. And everyone is so, like, there's so many differing opinions. And if you don't understand the base of it, whatever you tell yourself is true is true. And I just explain it that way because it's the simplest way, in my opinion, to explain it. It's the way I wish somebody would have explained it to me. Your thoughts are your experience, it is your reality. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. That could be my assumption because I know life is meaningless. It, yeah, it really is. It really is. Once you see that, is like, no, whatever happens in your life is a neutral event, and you're putting all the meaning to all of it. At first, I'm like, I couldn't possibly be putting the meaning to all of it. But the more I started to be aware of my thoughts and pay attention and see the correlation between in here and out here, it's like, oh shit, no, it's all me. It's all my thoughts. Your mind is what caused your current circumstances. Yes. So yes, I agree. Your consistent thoughts, aka beliefs, are your experience. Yeah. And that's why you keep having the same experiences over and over and over again, because you don't change them. You don't take a step back and go, no, I no longer accept this. The moment you change your inner world, that is your experience now. I agree. And I know, because only the present moment exists. Exactly. And I know that that's hard for people, especially newer to this shit, to grasp. That it's like, no, like that is what is happening now. That's why people are like, there's always movement. If you are focused on that this is what is happening, just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean it's not happening. Been watching your videos lately and took some notes on them. I try to include your tips in my life to change it for the better. Oh, thank you. I'm glad they're helpful. All I can do is speak from my experience and share with people what I wish somebody would have told me in a way that I wish somebody would have told me. Like I said, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Just because I speak on it from this perspective of what's worked for me doesn't mean it's what's right for you. The more you can understand that this is a journey of you learning about you, and that the only way you can do it wrong is by deciding that you're doing it wrong, even down to your understanding of manifesting. If you keep telling yourself you don't understand and you need more information, guess what? You're right. And you don't understand it. And you need more information. I did that for a long time. I kept hearing coaches say, start telling yourself you understand it, but again, until you see it, you don't see it, and then once you see it, you can't unsee it. It was like, "Oh shit. I do tell myself I don't understand." I kept being like, there must be one more thing I don't understand. And it was that I was telling myself I don't understand. Yes, you explain it very well, Sonia. Oh, thank you, Moons. I just want to make it simple. To the point. Because it is simple and to the point. And I get where people, and I use a lot of the terms other people use, but I want to try to make it understandable. Because unless you understand what those terms truly mean, it's hard to grasp what the fuck you're actually trying to do. I always tell myself I have no resistance. Yeah, I have no resistance. I never waver. Literally, whatever you want to tell yourself, whatever thing you keep thinking that's a problem in your life, just start telling yourself that it's not a problem anymore. I fully understand manifesting. I know everything there is to know about manifesting. I fully understand it. I have no resistance. I never waver. I have full control of my thoughts. I never spiral. I don't have anxiety. I get what I want when I want it, quickly and easily. Once I make the decision to have it, I know it's mine. Manifestation is our whole life. I agree. I'm glad that I found your video somehow under another manifestation video. Sometimes people on YouTube overcomplicate things, talking about SPs and money, not overall, or putting different examples. I try to put examples as many as I can, but those are the ones that always come to mind, is like SP and money and how it relates to those things. But I try to make it so that you can understand that it's all the same, and how it, like, this is what you're actually doing. It's not only for the material stuff and relationships we want. Exactly. It's literally everything, you guys. Whatever problems you have, whatever things that you don't like about yourself, your personality, your people in your life, your situation, your things like, I have a hard time doing this, or this is so, impossible for me. All of that shit is creating. Yeah, I know most of the channels focus only on SPs, etc. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Discipline, that's the big one. Yeah, I know people. I don't really have like one area that I want to speak on. The thing I want to speak on is the basics of it. You can manifest whatever you want. It's all the same. Once you grasp that it's all the same and you figure out what works for you, you are going to have so much more success than going and coach hopping. Oh, well, they talk about SPs and they talk about money and they talk about this and they talk about that. And it's like, okay, but it's all the same. It's all you becoming aware of what you tell yourself and then accepting or rejecting those thoughts and those stories. Do you want this to continue to be true or do you not? I truly feel where I would have had so much more success in the beginning is if somebody just put it that way of like, learn what works for you and fucking run with it. Yep, everything is the same. Yep. And I could not fucking grasp that. I did not understand that it was all the same, that it was all just my thought process. Just ask yourself, what are the thoughts I would think if I had what I wanted? Exactly. If this were true, what thoughts would I have? Even if you need to, before you do that, write down the thoughts that you currently think on the topic. So you're clear on the things that no longer are true and what you're used to thinking about this topic, so that when they come up, you can be like, no, that's not true anymore. Yeah, discipline, changing the focus on mind and feeling, thinking, optimistic. Not every time. I think I'm changing for the better me. Yay. And the negative thoughts come, don't identify with it. Yep, because only the thought you choose to identify with are your truth. That part, that is the other thing. Then the reason I say so much that it's your thoughts is because that was the thing that I needed to hear that made it click for me. And I was like, oh, okay. And I see it a lot though. People hear it's your thoughts and then they want to like micromanage their thoughts and they're afraid of their thoughts and they're like, oh my God, I had a bad thought. Now everything's fucking ruined because I didn't perfectly affirm what I want it to be true now. And it's like, that's not what we're doing. It's not what we're doing. Not every single thought you are going to think is going to manifest. It is truly more your beliefs that manifest. But the way that you created the belief is through thoughts. The thing you have control over is how you're going to view things. But yeah, the thoughts you choose to identify with are your truth, aka your experience. Exactly that. It's called a dominant thought for a reason. Exactly. Exactly. Definitely agree. I wrote my self-concept, etc. I try to update it every time something changes drastically, even the simple thoughts or bigger ones. Yeah. I really think there's a lot of power into I don't I don't like calling it accepting where you are, but just noting where you are. Where am I right now? Okay, cool. What do I want to shift right now? Okay, cool. Realizing for me, I had it in my head. This came from my law of attraction shit. I thought that it was like I had one wish. If I didn't get my manifestation just right, then I had to live a life I didn't want to live. And it's like, that's so not even close to what we're doing here. You're always manifesting. You're always going to be manifesting. If you start manifesting something and you're like, I don't like this. I don't want to keep going down this road. Guess what? You can change it like that. Just because you wanted it at some point doesn't mean you have to keep wanting it. It's basically coming up so you can transform it. Exactly. Exactly. It's a lifestyle, that. It's a lifestyle. You are bound to get better. You can't lose if you work on changing your mindset. I agree. And the outer world has to change eventually. Exactly. The only way that you can like fuck it up is to stop trying. Hi Sonia, what's your technique to get rid of intrusive thoughts? If you're having like intrusive thoughts, like I want to hurt myself is what I think about intrusive thoughts, then you need to call somebody that can help you work through that shit, which is not me. I have the suicide prevention hotline in the the description if you need that. If you are just talking about thoughts that you don't want to be true, you notice them and then you decide that that is not true, that those thoughts are not, hold no power, and you tell yourself what is true. Your brain is going to think thoughts. You are the one who is labeling them as bad and making it miserable for yourself. How do you personally control your thoughts? I pay attention, and when I realize that I am thinking shit I don't want to be true, I focus on what I want to be true instead. Nope, that's not true. This is what's true. That's why I like having set affirmations. No, not suicidal, just thoughts I don't want. Yeah, I really don't like that we call them intrusive thoughts. They're just a fucking thought that you're labeling something you don't want. So you're doing half the fucking battle right there, acknowledging that you don't want this. So you reject it and you tell yourself something different. And even if that thought keeps playing in your head, you focus on that it's no longer true and that this is what is. Through the repetition, your brain will eventually accept it as true. I'm able to change my thoughts. I'm able to change my reality whenever I'd like to whatever I'd like. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I know I get that 2 or 3 years ago. I've been anxious, introverted, and everything, but now I'm a more open person, literally changed my whole personality and many thoughts and assumptions. Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. That's great. We are only a story. Got it. Thank you. You're welcome. But that's where you need to find what works for you when it comes to stopping and shifting thoughts. But I think it's realizing that your brain is always going to think. And like Moon said, it's the ones that you latch onto and then keep thinking and keep thinking and keep coming back to. I don't even think it's so much the thinking it repetitively in the moment so much. If that's helpful for you, then use that. But it's how much do you come back to it throughout the day? Let's say you catch yourself 50 times thinking about it. Do you bring yourself back to what you want to be true, or do you just let your brain keep going and going and going and going and going? So instead of it being like, okay, time number 1, I caught myself. Okay, time number 2, I caught myself. And then it's like, okay, time number 3, I didn't catch myself the rest of the day. And so the rest of the, 57 or 47 times I thought about it for the rest of the day just made me spiral and lose my shit. What was your hardest manifestation and how did you finally manifest it? I don't look at my life that way. I don't even look at shit as a manifestation anymore. I look at it as I focus on my mindset. Am I on top of my mindset? Am I happy? Then nothing else really matters. You can feel it in your body. You can feel it in your body. You will know when you're dwelling on something. Oh, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. When you, that's a big way of how I catch my thoughts now. When I start feeling anxious or upset in any way, when your emotions start to change, that's when it's like, okay, what's happening up here? I have a question. How do you manifest most of the time? Is it just a thought, an assumption, inner work, or do you use some methods like affirmations, scripting, etc.? I do whatever the fuck I want to in the moment. I don't have like a routine anymore. Unless I want to do something. I'm having some ideas of some things I want to try going into New Year's, but I will see if I actually ever do it. Life is meaningless. If you assign that meaning, the meaning that manifestation is hard, then you're right. Exactly. Because you're always right. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. If I caught myself telling myself, "Oh, this is hard to manifest," I would catch myself. I'd be like, "Yeah, no. I don't allow myself to use that word." I've said this before. There's only one thing in the world that I will use the word hard in relation to, and it is a body part that I don't have. Otherwise, that is not a word in my vocabulary. And if I catch myself thinking, oh, this is hard, no, it's not. Because you're always right. So this is an individual journey, like Sonia said, yes. We are all individuals having our own unique experience based off of our belief systems that we have picked up along the way. Ask yourself, what kind of meaning do you assign to stuff? I agree. Because whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Oh my God, this manifestation's never going to happen. I don't think it's working. It's not working. It never works for me. You're right. Oh my God, I get my manifestations instantly and effortlessly. I'm such a master at this. I fully understand manifesting and have everything I've ever wanted. You're also fucking right. But one of those, you will be looking outside of you and gaining that perspective from. But you have to realize that this, your inner world, is your true reality. All depends on what you tell yourself consistently. Yep. This is where people say, ignore your 3D. Neville said, deny your senses. When you start telling yourself something different, there is not going to be anything proving you right. But you choose it and you choose it and you choose it. Just like you're choosing now to bitch, whine, moan, and complain about whatever area of your life or whatever thing or whatever you're facing. Nope, this is going to work out for me. I always get what I want. Consistently coming back to it. Noticing you're starting to worry. Noticing you're starting to complain. Noticing whatever. But it all comes back to the basis of the law. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Yep, once you train yourself to be aware, it becomes automatic. Oh, yeah. And once you shift into those base things, like you start seeing your brain actually change and your brain function from a different place, you're like, oh shit, this actually does change not only the outside, but it changes the inside too. Because I honestly wasn't expecting that. I started working on like self-concept shit and thought I just would always have to like work on it, which came from my law of attraction days. New level, new devil. There's always things to fix and there's always growth and blah, blah. It's all bullshit. Unless you believe that's true, then that's exactly what you get to experience. Time doesn't matter, just focus on changing your mindset. Your whole mindset dictates the kind of life you live. Yep. Tonight I'm just letting myself talk. Hey, that's all right. Anybody else have any questions? Because if not, I've got nothing else to talk about. So, New Year's Eve, I'm going to go all out. Ooh, fun. 2024 will be an amazing year for all of us. I agree. I do too. I've already been affirming about how amazing 2024 is going to be. Okay, I'll probably be going to sleep now. It's already 2 a.m. and I have to work tomorrow. Well, then go to bed. Go to bed. If no one else has any other questions, I'm going to hop off of here too. I'll be back Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time if you want to come hang out. More than likely, I may miss that one. We'll see. It depends on what's going on Saturday. So does me having a belief that everything has to fall apart before I receive something, is that simply just my belief left out loud? Yeah, I used to have that belief and it's garbage. So I would highly recommend getting rid of it because you will continue to experience that until you change it. 2024 will be perfect, full of luck, happiness, and joy. Absolutely, it will. Okay, awesome, amazing. Yeah. Not only did I have that belief, but my law of attraction coach reinforced it to the point where I was a fucking disaster area. Like everything had to fall apart before it got better. It was so bad. Common belief people have is that the bad comes before the good. Yep. And that isn't true. Yep. Well, only if you say it is. Yeah, that part. But yeah, it doesn't have to be true, I guess is the more accurate way of putting it. It's only true because you believe it is. Someone asked me right before I got on here on TikTok, they were like, so how long does the old story have to does it take for the old thoughts to play out before you experience the new ones? And it's like, whatever you tell yourself is true is true. That was one of my worst assumptions. Oh yeah, me too. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I had no idea that I was the reason that it kept happening. For a while, I was like excited when shit started to get bad because I was like, oh, this means something good's gonna happen. And then learning what actually is going on, I was like, oh shit, that's not good. Now you know not to tell yourself that. Yeah, exactly. Want to get manifestations before 2024. I've already experienced it and have. In my 3D, please show up already, laugh out loud. Because you tell yourself it's not here yet. You are focused on not having it. And you bring this up on just about every live. Why isn't it here yet? Wish it would show up already. Stop fucking telling yourself that, Zelda. You have it. It's done. What are you fucking waiting for? Until you stop bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining about your 3D, you're not changing you. You're focusing on how shit never changes. And it's manifesting perfectly. I made a couple move again from a favorite bench at my local park today. Of course you did. And let me guess, you weren't waiting like 3 hours for them to move. You decided they were going to move and they did. Definitely now I'll go offline to bed. Have a good day, night, everyone. See you again on Saturday. Bye. Good night. Victory. It took less than 3 minutes. Yep. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. My sister said she's scared of me. That's kind of funny. Starting to get her into law of assumption. Of course you are. And she's going to pick it up so fast. And now you have a new manifesting buddy. That's true. It wouldn't surprise me if you started affirming she's so into it, she picked it up so fast, you're gonna come on here like Saturday and be like, yeah, my sister's manifesting all kinds of crazy shit. It'll be fun. Of course it will be. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna affirm that. You should. Why not? Tried getting my mother into law of assumption, but she's got her own interesting things going on over there. Laugh out loud. As you were trying to control the 3D. You can't change somebody in the 3D, but you can see them differently in your head. And right now you don't see her as the person who would be into it, so she has to prove you're right. I was just gonna say moons, it's 7-11 over here. I was worried she would think what she would think, then I remembered everyone is us pushed out. So she will conform, yeah. We shift realities, yep. Shift to the version, to experiencing the version of her that you want. Because it truly is, oh, she's not into this kind of shit. Because that's what you tell yourself. I remember hearing somebody read a success story that they got of something like that, where it's like they remember asking their sister about manifesting, and they're like, oh, that's evil and whatever, I'm not into that. And then, like, they started revising shit and whatever, and then they came up, and their sister was like, no, I'm totally into manifesting. I manifested my husband. And they're like, but you thought it was like evil. And they're like, no, I never thought that. Because creation is finished. We're constantly selecting. Yeah, I saw that story. Yeah. I think it was a Sammy success story. Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's like, I think that's probably who it was. But yeah, you're not actually creating anything. You are selecting. Whatever you are telling yourself your experience is in the moment right now is what you are experiencing. And what will be proven to you to be true in your physical world if you keep telling yourself that that's how shit is. Because you have to be proven right. That's the law. You have to be proven right. Knowing this is what made it even easier, because everything already exists. I think for me that was the part that was really hard to grasp. But again, once you start to see it and you realize, okay, I can think whatever I want, and then you see that connection between your thoughts and your experiences, it's like, no, you're not creating jack shit. You are literally shifting into having that experience because of what you think and tell yourself. For example, if you say you're a master at manifesting, you'll shift into the reality where that is true. And that will become your dominant thought. That will be your belief. That will be just the thought that plays in your head. Just like right now, you're like, I don't know if I understand it. I don't know if this could happen. And what about this? No, I'm a master at manifesting. And you're going to start getting into situations and you're going to be like for me, my reaction is, bitch, you're a master manifester. You're fucking God. Why are you having this like pissy fit right now? I've literally had those moments. We are always moving in and out of realities. I agree, based on our thoughts. Absolutely. I have a question. We'll go ahead and ask it. One time I had over 5 manifestations come through. Of course you did. Of course you did. I think that's the part that's hard for people to understand too, is like, you don't know how or when things are going to show up. And then when things show up, you have that like, is this a coincidence? Would that have happened anyway? Yep, the only way you can make something happen faster is by controlling your mind. Yep. And telling yourself that it's done. It's happened so fast. I always get what I want when I want it. It's actually it actually really is done. Mm-hmm. Your imagination is the real reality. And the more you start to realize that and notice that and accept that too, the 3D is a reflection. I wish there was a better way to explain that. Because I know for me, that one was really fucking hard to understand. But once you start to pay attention to the connection between what's happening up here and what's happening out here, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see it. So therefore, the success story is having it mentally. Yep. I think, at least for me, a big part of that being really hard to grasp was like, okay, but there's no evidence of it happening. What if I get my hopes up? And it's like, okay, but you don't have it in your imagination. It's not done if you're like, okay, but maybe it won't happen. And that's where I tell people to try it with shit that isn't like all important, that doesn't feel like life or death, to go all in on it. Like, oh, but I'll be so disappointed if it doesn't work. Manifest seeing a blue ant, manifest people doing shit. Once you manifest shit, you can see how true that is. Yeah, I agree. Wanting nothing attracts everything. I mean, if that fucking works for you, I don't know. I don't agree with that because if I don't want anything, it means I don't desire anything. That was kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, I mean, okay. The reason we manifest is because we want it. Yeah. That's been my experience. But also, do you? If your belief is if you want nothing, you'll have everything, then that's what's going to fucking be proven to you to be true. We are born to create. I agree with that. I do not believe that we are here to suffer and be miserable and be like, oh, I wish things were like this. As soon as you have the thought of, I wish, just tell yourself that that wish is true, no matter what it is. Like that's all this is. When you have thoughts that make you miserable and are like, oh, I don't like this and I don't want this and I wish it were this way, it's the way you want it to be. That's it. And watch it unfold to prove you're right. Because the only reason it's the way you want it to be or you don't want it to be is because that's what you fucking tell yourself. What I mean is, I don't make my manifestations my priority. It'll come to me, if that makes sense. We are always manifesting. No, we are being aware of how to select what we want. Now we are, no, we are. Either way. Once you're aware of it, you can use it to your advantage. I was thinking about this the other day and it kind of stuck with me. If we create our realities, why is it some people are born in desirable lives and some aren't? Is it like a default thing? We are always consciousness. This is where you get into like esoteric belief systems, but I believe we choose to come here. I believe we choose to have experiences. This is like things Bashar talks about. You chose to come here and you chose to have the experience that you are having. And the people who are having undesirable experiences chose to have them. So the real question is, why are you so judgy about what people choose to experience? Because the only reason something is desirable or undesirable is because you are labeling it as such. I believe if we desire something consistently, we are meant to experience it. I agree. I didn't mean it to sound judgy. Sorry if it came off that way. I was just curious about other experiences. And I wasn't like trying to be like bitchy about it, but you're the one putting the this is desirable and this isn't desirable, which is judging, being judgy of things. We are the ones who have their free will in our reality, so it's our choice. Yeah. And if we are always consciousness, if we are a soul having a human experience, that means we chose willingly to come here. I think we knew full fucking well what we were getting ourselves into. But that's just my personal belief. We're the ones who have free will in our reality, so it's our choice. Just realized we aren't even our bodies. We are just awareness, yeah. Which means that death isn't the end. That's how you explain like past lives and shit. We are just aware of this experience that is happening right now in the eternal now. Because it's our awareness that causes to experience stuff. Mm-hmm. And this is where, I've talked about that I like a lot of the stuff Bashar says, and I do agree with a lot of it. And it's not just Bashar that says this, but I think Dolores Cannon says the same shit, but it's like, you chose to come here and you, knowing what you were getting into, you chose this experience. You also chose how you're gonna die. You're in control of fucking all of it. Makes sense. Oh my god, I was thinking this during my walk earlier. Oh, of course you were. But it all comes back to your belief system. What do you believe? Why are we here? I've just had experiences in my life that it's like, yeah, no, I believe that. Who is Bashar? Sorry if I spelled that wrong. He is I don't know. I believe he's an alien, basically, that is channeled through a guy named Daryl Anka. I don't exactly know the whole thing, but it's kind of like Abraham Hicks. But Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist who would do these sessions with people and did this shit for like 30 years all over the world. Maybe it was more than 30 years. She did it for a fucking long time, and she would put people into deep hypnosis and ask them the same kind of questions, like, why did you come here? And like everyone gave her the same answer of, I chose to come here. It's a space entity. There you go. That's probably a better wording. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I wanted to come here. But you're right. Whatever we were doing before we decided to come here, it seemed like it's like, yeah, no, I want to go to Earth. I want to be born in this moment to these parents and have this experience. Even in religions, it says our soul was asked our permission to come here. No joke. I believe that. Have you guys ever seen the like stories of like kids telling their parents, like, do you remember when we chose to come here and last time I was the mom and you were my kid, and like past life shit like that? So that has a ton of merit to it. And like I said, this is just my take on it. This is just my belief system, but you can believe whatever the fuck you want to, and you'll be proven right. I can't remember shit. You remember everything, Moons. I remember there being a point in my life being like, why would I have ever picked to come and live here? And it's like, now in this moment, I'm like, yeah, no, there's nowhere else I would rather be. So, hi, what do you do when you start affirming and your brain starts bringing up memories from the past to prove it's not true? You decide that that is bullshit and you decide to focus on what you now want to be true. Your brain is you have the neural pathways right now that are telling you that that shit's not true. So you need to create the new neural pathway that tells you that everything that what you want to now be true is true. So you do that through repetition of reminding yourself what's now true. You could use revision, be like, yeah, that never happened. When I have memories I don't want to be true, I just tell myself that was a bad dream. That was a bad dream. Thank God it wasn't real. And go back to affirming. I remember when I was super young, I was telling my mom about some experiences I've never had before but vividly remembered. I still do have those memories pop up sometimes. Interesting. I told my coworker when we have a deja vu moment that it's just us experiencing our past life. She kind of kicked me out of the car, laugh out loud. Oh. She brought it up a few weeks ago. Zelda, do you remember when you told me about how you died and about your family? I was like, huh? She told me how distraught I was. It was insane. Laugh out loud. Oh my God. I saw a story of this little boy who would tell his parents about dying in a plane crash during World War II or World War One. And they actually found out who he was in a past life. Like, it was fucking wild. Like, they found there was a pilot that went down exactly like he described it. It's like, holy shit. Oh, thank you. I like the bad dream idea. Yeah, it works for me. Oh, that was a bad dream. This is what's true now. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. You can literally do it in whatever way feels good to you. I love using the bad dream for revision. Me too. I've done that with so much shit, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's like I don't even remember the stuff that I've done it with. It's like it went away, which is kind of the point of revision, to make it like go away. It works for me. It works for me. Shar talks a lot about the concepts of law of assumption. I agree. I agree. I loving the I love using the bad dream for revision. Me too. I watched a couple of his videos lately. Yeah, he pops up sometimes and it's like I think I've said before, when I first found him I was like, what the fuck? But now that I actually kind of like understand what the fuck he's talking about, I'm like, I enjoy listening to this. But I can also see where you're like, yeah, it's not for me. But I also go into listening to anybody, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. When it pops up randomly, it means there's a message for me there. I agree. Hi, what do you tell yourself when your brain questions how can physical things or people change? In this journey I have so far had good experience with changing my internal world. That's when you remind yourself that your experience is whatever the fuck you tell yourself that it is. And you keep telling yourself what you want to be true and keep doing it 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 until it fucking changes to prove you right. Because until you experience it, you're not going to fucking believe it. It's a choice. You just keep telling yourself that that's no longer true. This is what's true. I assign that meaning to it. I like that meaning. This popped up, so it means there's something in here for me. Yep, makes my life more interesting that way. See, we're here to have fun, you guys. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Earth is a school and you came here to learn." And I'm like, I think Earth is a game. I think we came here to have fun and enjoy ourselves. Life is not serious. Yeah, that I was just thinking it's like we take everything so fucking seriously. It's like I don't think that's why we're here. I really don't. Thanks. I feel so far I'm doing good. Just have always been quite logical in life. Used to make my mom crazy asking questions about meaning behind each and every religious ritual. Yeah, logic doesn't work here. If you're trying to logically figure out how it's going to work, it's not going to because you're not just focused on it being that way. If you're saying the meaning, life is a school, then it's true. That is very true. Mm-hmm. I don't want it to be a school. Like I just want to have fun and enjoy myself. I came here to go on vacation. Manifesting is not logical. No, it is not. Life is fun. I agree with that one. Even if you even if you go to school, why would you assume that your entire life is school? I came here to live an entire existence for school. That's not a decision I feel like I would have made. Me too. I just want to have fun and live. And achieve the goals I want. Yeah. On my terms. Reminds me of when you know, we're always growing and evolving and you like have to have the growing pains and I just got sick of that shit at one point. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm fully fucking grown. I'm not a goddamn tree. I'm not going to keep growing forever. Yes, you're always expanding, but I don't think expanding and growth are the same fucking thing. I also do not attach my worth to anything. Yes, that is so important. I'm goof enough just for I'm good enough just for existing. It's my birthright. Yes. Achieving things is just a bonus. I love that. Me too. I don't want to be here to learn lessons and struggle and heal. Yeah. No. No. I'm fully fucking healed. I've learned all my lessons. You don't have to with all the information you have. I agree. It's all, again, whatever you tell yourself is true is true. Again, that's where I'm like, the more you see it, the more you are like, even that shit has to be proven to you to be true. Exactly. I don't want to learn lessons consistently. That would be so mentally draining. If everyone and everything you do is a lesson, then what's the point? Life is easy and fun. I agree. I think that perspective of like everything and everyone is a lesson and you're learning all this shit is the same kind of mentality as like, what is the thing that everyone always fucking says? I don't know. There's another thing that's like right in there with that shit. It's like, no, thank you. It's just just a collective assumption doesn't make it true. Exactly. Exactly. There's a lot of collective assumptions that just because it is a collective assumption does not make it true. Just means a large amount of people accept it as true and it was proven them to be true. Uh-huh. I agree. I absolutely agree. And even if things are true for everyone else, if you decide you're the exception, guess what will be proven to you to be true? And then when they experienced that assumption was shared. Uh-huh. I know, I'm so happy life is good and easy. And it just became a loop. Yep. And then we passed it on from generation to generation to generation. I would be so upset if my best friends were a lesson. It took me forever to meet my people. Please don't hurt me. Unseeable law of attraction forces. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. If you think that your friends are going to turn on you, then they're going to fucking prove you're right. Because you are the one creating all of it. There's nothing outside of you deciding what is a lesson for you other than you. So if you decide you don't have lessons, guess what? You don't. They say life is what you make it is true. I agree. Life is definitely what you make it. I know they won't turn on me. I was just kidding, laugh out loud. I don't believe in lessons. Well, I kind of do, but I see them more as a, okay, I need to change my perspective on this. Yeah, to me it's just more awareness. Okay, I'm now aware of this and I'm going to accept or reject it. That's one collective assumption I agree with. Yeah, I don't think all of the collective assumptions are bad. Do what feels right, but if you want them in your life, think of them as you want them to be. Exactly. Because everyone is us pushed out. Yup. Just because everyone is us pushed out doesn't mean we should change them. I agree. Do what feels good. But I do think that's the perfect example of, oh, like I finally met my people. And I know you were like joking, but it's like, oh, I finally met my people. I hope they don't turn on me. It's not about changing the people, it's about changing your perspective of how people treat you, right? Which is just you becoming more aware and being like, yeah, that may have been my experience in the past, but it's not going to continue to be my experience. Because the only reason it was your experience is because you thought that's what your experience was, based off of some shit you picked up somewhere, right? Yep, we select our experiences. And we're selecting our experiences based off our entire belief system. There is no default experience. Yep. After learning everyone is you pushed out, I've been thinking of my friends more favorably. This one that I cut off because she was so mean to me for being nice and too soft. She was so rude, so I walked away. Because we are always selecting with our inner world, aka mind. Yep. Just because shit has always been true for you doesn't mean that you have to continue to allow it to be true for you. Just focus on you, and if you want her back in your life, then you can, but you don't have to. That right there. Just because you can view people differently does not mean that you have to. You can literally just take it as literally whatever you want it to be. You won't even be bothered by it once you understand how it works. I agree. Yeah, the whole like everyone is you pushed out concept for me, coming from the law of attraction shit, where it's like, oh, you can't manifest people, and people, like, there's, whatever bullshit. It's like, no, they are who you think they are. It's like, what? That was where once I realized it's just your thoughts, it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. If everything is being reflected back to me based off of what I believe about everything, then that makes sense. Law of attraction tells you can't manifest certain people. Yeah. Thanks. I've been doing mostly self concept work. It helped. I'm not at the place where I want to be yet, but I know I'll get there quickly. There you go. Because timing has someone better. Yeah, that shit. Oh my god. Yeah, it was like, oh, well, how do you, like, okay, you're having this problem with like family members. Okay, well, how would you want it to be? Okay, but okay, this specific person, I really want like them to ask me out. Yeah, you can't control that. It's like, the divine timing and the someone better. Man, I saw somebody on TikTok talking about how unless you're a true twin flame, you just don't understand. And I'm like, do you understand how culty and weird that is? Like, you need to calm down. Apparently, divine timing has a better mother for me, I guess. Oh, divine timing. Man, I think it was somebody on it was on TikTok, I believe. They were like on one of my lives. They were like, specific people are only specific because we decided that they are. It's fucking true. I don't believe in twin flames. I don't either. I believe if I want to be with somebody, I can be with them by telling myself that's what's happening. If you want to call it a twin flame, sure. But when you start coming at me with, oh, well, you don't understand because you're not in union with your twin flame, yeah, you need to back the fuck off. They are only specific because we said they are. Mm-hmm. Out of all of the people on the planet, I want to have this experience with this person. That desire comes from wherever the fuck all the rest of my desires come from. But they're specific because I decided that they were for whatever reason, right? And they are not exempt from everyone as you pushed out. I'm sure I've mentioned this on a live before, but I had a a twin flame coach on one of my TikTok videos being like, "Oh, well, you just explained the twin flame journey." And I'm like, "Bitch, I just explained manifesting. And you're over here telling people that they can't manifest their twin flame." So, yep, and I'm sure they are specific because we say so. I agree. Yep. I don't understand the logic of, oh, but like your divine counterpart is the one area of your life where there's something outside of you, like fucking Cupid or something, deciding who you should be with. And they contradict themselves so much. Yeah, they really do. A lot of them just want money. That's it. I agree. I agree. Because when you listen to them, you're just like, do you hear yourself talk? Oh, you watched that Netflix documentary, Moons? Wasn't it fucking insane? Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it was fucking wild. A lot of them don't even know what they're saying. Yeah, I agree. They really don't. Because like if you took a second and listened to yourself, it's like, what? Wait, what's the documentary called? I believe it's called Escaping Twin Flames. It made me sad. Yeah, it was like I said, I when it starts off, it's like, yeah, well, this guy was like basically learning how to start a cult. It's like, oh, this is great. And then you're like, okay, this twin flame shit, okay. And by the end of the first episode, I was like, this gets bad. But it went in a direction that I was not expecting and was like, holy fuck. Yes, that documentary was crazy. Yeah. I was like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. And it just kept getting worse. And I'm just like, holy shit. They were changing people's genders, etc., when nothing would work. He even called himself Jesus. Yeah. It's so scary. So fucking scary. I'm watching it now. Let's see how crazy it gets. It was fucked up. And there's a lot of the, oh, well, we're in union as twin flames. So we have these magical powers that you don't possess because, like, you're not in union. Like, hmm. Like, I can't with that part. You're not in union, so you don't understand. Do you hear yourself? That's fucking weird. You will know when you want to be with somebody. I agree. It's nothing complicated. I also agree. But it's definitely a way to start cults and make money. Only I can tell you who you should be with. It's fucking terrifying. Because I'm a true twin and have been in fucking, like, I don't know. I will say with that documentary, I thought it was going to go in one direction and it just took a fucking curve in the other. And I was like, holy shit. Twin flame was always a bit weird to me. Like, what if I don't want said twin flame? Then what? Do I have to pay millions to find another? It's insane. Yeah. Well, and then there's the people that are like, oh, well, your twin flame may not be somebody that you'll be romantically involved with. And it's like, what? And then they're like, oh, but your twin flame is it's gonna be the hardest relationship you'll ever be in. And it's like, what? It's one of humans' biggest weakness because it's human nature to want to have a connection so they can take advantage of people who are desperate for it. I completely agree with that, Moons. I hate the toxic twin flame idea, especially with the runner and chaser BS. Oh god, yeah. I remember first finding that shit and I didn't ever get super into it. But I remember getting into it and just being like, what? Huh? And then it's always like, oh, you just have to drop it and like it'll happen if it's meant to be. And it's like, what? Then coming into law of assumption and everyone is you pushed out. And then it's like, oh, relationships make sense now. But your whole twin flame thing goes out the window because it's like your relationships and shit is just a reflection of what you think it all is. Yep, it really does make sense. It does. It's like, oh. And I can see it. I can see everyone as you pushed out with everyone in my life. Past, present, like you see it. I've seen people in a twin flame relationship. What is that like? Does it really just come down to that's just what they call it? I heard twin flame relationships are very intense. Yeah, the whole. Well, it's interesting. I've seen people in twin flame relationships for 15 years, but one of the twin is married and it's so toxic, it's weird. Oh, lordy. Yeah, no. No. I heard twin flame relationship is very intense and it makes a lot of people suicidal when it ends. It can be dangerous for people who believe in this concept. Oh, that's scary. But the thing that people talk about, they're like, oh, they're going to mirror back to you everything about everything. And it's like, you're talking about everything as you pushed out. Like, that is what you are fucking talking about, which you are experiencing with anybody in any relationship. And it's only true for them because that's what they believe is true for them. Yeah. Why the fuck are you going to be like, oh, I want this relationship and it's going to be like all this work to be in it? But it's because they sell it as like, oh, but it's like the best relationship you'll ever have because they're your twin or whatever. I don't even know. Which is why people experience twin flames because they think it's true for them. Exactly. They assign that meaning to that relationship. Yup. I love the people who are like, I never could get my twin flame, so I'm just gonna settle for a soulmate. And it's like, I can tell by the wording of this comment that you need to work on you and then you'll be in a relationship. And they are proven true. Exactly. Oh my god, yes. They say that your twin is supposed to highlight all your faults you need to heal. Yeah. And it's like, no, they're just reflecting back to you your own shit, which is what everybody does. Everyone is reflecting. Like, I was talking about this earlier today, where it's like, when something happens outside of you, it is a neutral event. If you are triggered by something outside of you, it had nothing to do with the outside. It has to do with you. No matter if it's your twin flame or not. Like, if anything happens with anybody or any situation, it's all within you. Everything is always coming from within you. anybody you're in a relationship, you're gonna have that fucking shit with you. Is there a difference between a twin flame and a soulmate? Supposedly. Your twin flame is like when the universe was pulled apart, your twin flame is the other half of your energy or some shit. And your soulmates are just like other energy that was like not directly connected to you or something. I don't even fucking know. It's some weird yeah. Must be heartbreaking to hear you're someone's soulmate in that case. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But whatever you tell yourself is true is true. I always found it weird. A twin flame or soulmate was supposed to be romantic. It's mostly my opinion, but platonic relationships are just as great. Building a genuine bond with someone is so nice. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, the twin flame shit, like I said, I didn't ever get really into it, but the shit that I did learn about it, I'm like, it never made any sense to me. It never made any sense. Like, it was like, what? Where with law of assumption, from the moment I heard it, something in me was like, yes. I don't know what, and I am like not ready to just latch onto this right now, but like something clicked. With the twin flame shit, it's like, okay, it sounds good. You want to have like this amazing relationship, but then you start listening to the shit people say about it and you're like, what? It's just a fucking label that people put onto things. That's it. It ain't true in my experience. Someone made this concept and it was shared around and made a collective assumption. Yeah. These twin flame coaches kill me. Oh, some of the shit they say. You're just like, oh my God. Again, do you hear yourself? Oh, you're energetically pushing them away because you thought about them. What? I, but they believe that shit, so they experience that shit. Or they just say that shit to make money. Who knows? I can see through people. I just need 3 minutes with a coach to know if they're about the money. Oh, I was thinking that too earlier. Something that we were talking about. It's like once you understand shit, you can tell real quick the ones that are sketchy as fuck. Or you have to heal and reach your XYZ chakra. Yeah. Listen, me working with my chakras was part of my journey of what helped me, but I do not believe that it's like, oh, well, once you clear this out, then everything falls into place. No. Oh my God, another thought transmission. Your body can feel it too. Might as well might as mine mine was EFT tapping. It's a lot to help your mindset, talking about energy work. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think all that shit is tools, but these people who are like, "Oh, well, the reason you don't have your dream relationship is cuz you like have these chakra problems," is like fucking ridiculous. Not the XYZ chakra. Oh no, the XYZ chakra. So manifesting someone new is just as easy as manifesting an old SP. Yeah. All manifesting is the same. You just tell yourself you have what you want. Like, that's it. Yep, everything is the same to manifest. Exactly. Moons is on top of it before I can even get to the fucking questions. Yeah, everything's the same. You just tell yourself you have it. If you want to get clear on, my dream person would be like this, you can. Or you just are like, yeah, no, I'm in my dream relationship. Or I should be your assistant. General affirmations are the best in my opinion. Moons, you can definitely be my assistant. And I love general affirmations. I feel like realizing that being like, oh, you need specific affirmations or general affirmations, or I feel like that's getting way too techniquey. Yeah, blanket affirmations is a great way. Like everything in life is perfect. Wait, do you mean you don't manifest after having the right energy on the moon, on the right year, on the right day, on the right hour? Pay me $1,000 and I'll help you out. Yeah, those are the people you run away from. Everything in everything in life is perfect. Will solve everything that needs to be perfect. I agree. $3,000 love course. Yeah. It's just your thoughts. That's it. If you think that the moon has to be in a right place, or that the planets play a part in it, or that your chakras play a part in it, or whatever you tell yourself is true is true. 5K to help you align your vibration. Oh god, the fuckers with the vibration. I can't with them. I can't. Oh my god, I'm so curious. What could possibly be in a 3K love course? I heard somebody tell me, I think that this person, their course was 4 grand, and they're like, you have to have a perfect self concept in order to manifest your person, so I'll help you do that for 4 grand. It's like, calm down. Honestly, I say I've learned a lot from your content. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Your vibration is just your consistent thoughts. Yeah, I couldn't fucking figure that out either, and it drove me fucking nuts. I saw a $7,500 coaching course for coaches from a YouTuber with less than 1,000 subscribers. Hey, if they believe it's going to work for them, how can you coach coaches if you have no clients? Well, their clients are coaches. Apparently, I heard a coach was charging over 600 pounds an hour. I think he's called Edward Arts. I've heard of him. I didn't realize that that's how much he charges. It is recent. He's the one people are saying is Neville 2.0, laugh out loud. I've listened to a few of his things, and I feel like he's a little bit confusing personally. Can't remember the exact sum, but people were shocked. I've heard of him. A lot of law of assumption people are on Twitter and Tumblr talk about him often. I had no idea he was a coach or even charged that much when he uploads free teachings. I remember trying to listen to him and I couldn't understand anything. Sonia, Blessings regarding affirmations. Joseph Murphy said, repeating health and wealth as you go to sleep is enough. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. So if you feel like that's enough, then that's enough. You gotta do what works for you. He is confusing as fuck. Like I said, I think it was somebody was like, oh, you remind me of him on TikTok. So I looked him up and like watched a few videos and I was like, eh. I just don't want to do dating apps. Who said you have to do dating apps? Is that coming from a place of I want to do this? No. So why the fuck would you think that you have to do it in order to get what you want? If you are telling yourself you have what you want, you have it, and you don't have to figure out how you're going to get it. Going on a dating app when you don't want to is controlling the fuck out of the 3D, and you're probably not going to have a very good experience. He doesn't believe in repetition, and that's where I logged out. That's weird. I will script about it. A lot of people worship that man. Interesting. Yes, he says not to repeat and just be or some BS like that. How are you going to be if you don't tell yourself that that's how shit is? I don't get that shit from people. Sonia, apparently accept the inner man. Oh, Jesus. Not one of those fuckers. Repetition is key if there is too much resistance. Yeah. And even if it's not like robotically affirming or affirming in that sense, it's when your brain wants to tell you that things aren't going your way and that it's not working or that this is not true, you have to fucking bring yourself back, which is repetition. Going back to what I was saying earlier, if you have the thought about your specific person 50 times a day, you have to bring it back 50 times. Or as you know, I'm saying as all the thoughts you thought about them, you caught yourself 50 times. You have to bring it back, which is fucking repetition. He talks in the line of, he who believes in God knows the abundance of life. Oh, Jesus. No wonder I didn't keep listening to him. Like, what the fuck? When people say that, I wonder, do they just not have thoughts all day long? I wonder that too. It's like, does your brain function that much differently than mine? I mean, it's possible, but what? What even is an inner man? Yeah, that was kind of my fucking... That was the first thing I heard getting into manifesting. I never understood it, stood it. I mean, are you just talking about, like, imagination? Making things complicated. Yeah, I agree. It became a new religion. Yeah. Contradict every false thought with your correct assumption in the time the inurus thoughts get weak and die away. Yeah. Again, it's fucking repetition though. Coming back. I don't... Apparently the brain works in states. Yeah. Only way to enter a state is with your thoughts. That's the part that I don't get why that's so fucking complicated. I don't get it. That's what I thought. That was imagination, but apparently it's not to some people. And it's the ego and the ego desires and blah blah blah. Oh god. And you wonder why people are so fucking confused. So either way, they're practicing repetition. They just don't want to call it repetition because they don't want to be linked in with, they want to be different because they want to get views. So they're the people who are like, I don't want to have to repeat it. I just want it to be done. They can appeal to those people and take their 750,000 trillion dollars, whatever. I don't know. You can't escape repetition regardless of the technique. I agree. They want it to sound mystical. I agree. Yes, they do. It's like, oh, it's just like magic. And it's like, but if you don't change you, religious people call the LOA demonic, yet they preach about it every Sunday. Yeah. Yeah. And usually those people don't show their faces. Yeah. Have you noticed that correlation? I don't know that I've paid that close of attention to it, but I believe you on that one. Prayer is especially manifesting, but not relying on an outer source. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they act like affirming once is a magic spell. Laugh out loud. Yeah. And unless you believe that magic spells work, guess what? They're not going to. If you went out on the street, you wouldn't know who Edward Arts is. Yeah, that's true. He has those weird on YouTube. He has those weird like drawings. That was the other thing watching him. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, what is this? I don't get why people think the ego is bad. The ego is what is, excuse me, it wants the best for you, want you to have a good place, a nice car. Without the ego, you would be living in the forest with no desires. He is hidden and making money. I think the whole thing with the ego is just another trap to get people into that, oh, you need to pay me money because your ego's getting in the way. Let me fucking, I have the magic key to like tell you what your ego's telling you. And it's like, ego course, 10 grand. Yeah, absolutely. I don't trust coaches who don't show their faces. I gotta know you're genuine and show off your manifestations. Because these coaches lie and deceive the desperate. Yeah. Yeah. And when you're desperate, you don't realize that that's what's happening. There is so much shit that I come across, and it's just like, oh God. And it gets so much attention, and it's just like, I know it sounds good, like you just, put spit behind your ear and spin around 3 times saying your SP's name and you're going to be together, but it's like, when that doesn't work, you're just going to continue to look for more shit like that to try, and it's never going to work until you realize that the reason shit is the way it is because of the way you've chosen to think about it. Yes, it happened to me before. Hey, I can't judge. I did join a law of attraction cult and was there for over 3 years, so I understand if you want to keep things private, and that's fine. You don't have to show everything, but at least show us you're an actual, genuine person who wants to help others from a good place. I agree. Everyone starts somewhere. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Now we know better. Exactly. And that was a big part of me wanting to get on here, was I just wanted to speak on things the way I wish someone would have explained it to me. We can hopefully share our information with others, yeah. So others don't get scammed. Or after they do get scammed, they can actually find the right information. Not to be funny, but I see how cults get started by watching Edward Art because I have no idea what he's saying. Oh, and I see how easy it would be to start a cult. Oh my god, everyone is so willing to just give me their power. Oh, what would Sonia say and how should I do this? And it's like, I don't want your fucking power. Please take it back and figure that shit out for yourself. Some coaches talk for 15 minutes about their coaching. You can tell they're not genuine. I can sense a cold sign of low self-concept. Oh yeah. You need that validation from the outside. There's no need for validation when everything is you. Exactly that. Exactly that. The reason I make content is because I actually, like, I enjoy doing it. That's all the fucking validation I need. It's like, oh, I enjoy doing that. And even that is just a bonus. I agree. If that wasn't the cause, you still need to be your own validation. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or the case. If that wasn't the case, you still need to be your own validation. I agree. Because until you do that, you're always going to be seeking more validation. Man, I saw. It was on a TikTok that I was watching. I couldn't tell you anything else that they were fucking talking about, but they were like, if you do a project, decide that you did a good job on the project, and then drop it. Don't be looking for other people to tell you you did a good job on the thing. You did a good job, and that's it. It is what it is. And I'm like, that is very fucking true. Why do we need other people to be like, oh yeah, no, you did a good job? No, I did a good job, the end. Can you talk about your manifestations so far? I have manifested so much shit. I don't even remember it all at this point. People are just reflecting you. They are. If you look for validation from other people, you will get your limiting beliefs back. That is very true. Nothing good comes out of it. I agree. But my biggest slash favorite manifestation, oops, my biggest slash favorite manifestation is my mental health. Because the reason you are looking outside of you is because you see yourself as not good enough. Yep. That's what we married back. It absolutely is. Yep. Yes, I agree. My favorite manifestation is my mental health. It's like, oh, I feel like a sane person now. I manifested my mental health to be great. Me too, and I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing by affirming all the shit I was affirming, but that was what I got. And I had depression and really bad anxiety. Me too. Happy for both of you. Well, thank you. I'm happy for us too. And I know if I can do it, anybody can fucking do it. All right, you guys have any final questions for tonight? My phone is about to die, so I have to get off of here. Just think from the thoughts you would be thinking if you had perfect health. I still struggle with that. I switch from very highs and very low frequencies, and my therapist says I have signs of of BDP. Tell yourself that you have full control of your mind and that you have perfect mental health. Oh, you're welcome. And that, be gentle with yourself. Do we need to do in the 3D, but change your thoughts as well? I agree. And I know when you're first starting and you're like, yeah, this couldn't possibly ever work. Be gentle with yourself. Decide that you're going to do your best and do what you can and just keep doing it. The more you do it, the easier it'll get. But that, again, all manifestation is the same. Because if you can desire to get better, it means there's a reality in which your better exists. Simple. I agree. I agree. And for me, there was outside shit that I had to do. Like I was talking about learning to work with my chakras. That was one thing that helped me. The thing that helped me the most personally, the thing that I was led to was acupuncture and Chinese medicine. But I wasn't even affirming for my mental health. I was affirming, isn't it wonderful? Everything's perfect. And that was the path that I was led to. We can manifest anything. I know this might be sensitive, but we are just a story, including our issues. I agree with that. And I know when you're going through shit, like that can be like hard to comprehend, but that has been my experience over and over and over again. Going back to whatever you tell yourself is true is true. And if you keep telling yourself, well, this is true, so this is a problem and that's a problem, it's going to continue to be a problem for you. It can feel permanent. Oh, hell yeah. I went to therapy as a child because of my anxiety. And my parents stopped taking me because it didn't do anything. I never thought that I would have my anxiety at all under control. And I started affirming, isn't it wonderful? Everything's perfect. It was like this, it was like the beginning of December last year. And in January, shit started to change. Now, it did kind of fall apart, but it all was part of the unfolding, if you will, of me getting to a better place. But I swear one day you wake up and realize what the hell happened. You realize the things you had issues with are no longer issues. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had that fucking morning. It's strange but natural at the same time. Oh, yeah. I remember one morning just waking up and all the fucking affirmations I had been telling myself were just playing in my head. And it was like, what the fuck? What are these thoughts? These are foreign to me. And it's like, oh, those are all those affirmations you've been saying over and over and over again. Strange but natural at the same time. I can't explain it. Yeah. Until you experience it, there are no fucking words to explain it. But the more you are gentle with yourself and you just keep coming back to it, I promise you it'll change. Like, for example, but situations you would have anxiety with are no longer a problem. Yep. And you may not even notice that. You might, but there's things that it was like, oh, this would have made me really anxious. Why am I not anxious? And you're just like, huh? Just as an example. Yeah. It is true though. You're right, Sonia. I didn't notice it at first. Mm-hmm. And then like you're like, I felt light. Uh-huh. I felt light and I started doing things differently and like being different. And then it was like, oh wait, the fuck is happening? It's like, oh, something must have shifted because things are different now. I think the thing that people get caught up on with any manifestation is they think it's going to be like this drastic, huge difference. And not that it can't be, but it's like it is going to happen naturally for you. And even though I did have that big moment of like, holy crap, I'm living in this headspace with my affirmations, I guarantee you I was like naturally saying those affirmations to myself a lot more than I caught myself doing. It just hit me that morning waking up of being like, holy shit, whose thoughts are these? The brain feels different in a way. It feels natural. It feels natural that it feels strange. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. And I have found that the key is just making the decision that this is now true and then coming back to it. Nope, that's not true anymore. This is what's true. Nope, this is what's true. Nope, that's not true. This is what's true. And it does feel really weird when you start affirming something or scripting something or deciding something, however you want to look at it, and you're starting to do the work to bring it back to this is what's true and telling yourself that this is what's true, and your brain just starts to think it like, yeah, this is true even though you don't have any evidence of it being true, and your brain just kind of like accepts it and you're like, yeah, of course this is true, and then it fucking shows up. You're like, I always tell myself everything is easy. I no longer get mind fogs too. That's awesome. That is awesome. I truly believe anything that you tell yourself is constantly a problem in your life, if you decide it's no longer a problem and then tell yourself it's not a problem, you'll be proven right. I remember when I first started affirming, I cringed at the thought of telling myself I'm beautiful. Now I just say it randomly to myself, even on bad days. See? But that came from the repetition and going through that uncomfortable of that's not true. I can't say that. Oh my God. Nope. This is what's true now. Nope. This is what's true now. Nope. This is what's true now. That's great. I agree, it is. It is. And then you start to believe it, and then you start telling yourself, and then things start to change. Like, it's a, until you experience it, like Zelda, going back to your old self, would you, if you could go back and tell your old self when you started affirming that you would actually just start telling yourself that without thinking about it, would you have believed yourself? And what helps is reminding yourself that feelings don't manifest. Yes, only your consistent thoughts. I agree. Because you are going to feel probably uncomfortable when you first start. And I will say that now whatever I decide is like, no, this is what I'm going to start telling myself. It's not as intense as it used to be. Honestly, probably not. I would look at myself like I was crazy, but here I am now. Exactly. That's where I'm like, it's hard to believe when you first find it that you're just going to start telling yourself this and it's going to become natural to you, but it does. I wanted to vomit telling myself I'm perfect in every way. My body wanted to reject it so much. Oh, me too. I'm like, I can't tell myself I'm perfect. That's wrong. That's wrong. You can't do that. What are you doing? Why would you think you could say that to yourself? Like, and I think it was having that experience with things like that made it to where I am now, where I can just be like, nope, this is what I want to start telling myself, and I'm going to start telling myself it. And I don't have as big of the like to it. It may be there a little bit, but it's different than it used to be. Yes, it will eventually become natural. Yeah. I think part of it is because you truly realize it is my thoughts. And if I want this area of my life to change, then all I have to do is change my thoughts. And it may be a little, you know, not even uncomfortable at first. It'll will eventually become natural. You will feel comfortable. Yeah. You're like, I'm going to choose these thoughts because I want to. The end. But it comes down to practice and repetition, which is how you got good at anything in your life. The same way the bad was feeling natural. Exactly. Yep, just be patient. Yeah, being like happy and confident and feeling good can be your default state. I know that sounds insane when you aren't in that place, but I promise you, time is not linear anyway. All right, guys, I've got to jump off of here for tonight because my phone is about to die and I don't want it to get already warned me. So I don't care if I don't care. Where did I get that? If you don't change your mindset, wait a minute. What am I reading here? Time is not linear. Anyway, if you don't change your mindset, you will have the same thing. There's nothing to lose. I agree with that, Moons. Sorry for the mistakes. I was typing fast. That's all right. I think I got what you were saying. Yeah, you have nothing to lose by just choosing to view things differently. You have everything to gain. Bye, Moons. Have a great week. You have a great week too. Bye, Zelda. I will probably more than likely be back Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to come hang out, I will see you then. Telling myself every day, today is a great day, has truly helped me. I'm a PE teacher, and that helps a lot. There you go. There you go. I love that. Today is a great day. I'm telling you, those general affirmations are powerful. Very powerful. And I absolutely love that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I always have fun hanging out with you all. Like I said, I'll be back on here Saturday morning, more than likely at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time if you want to come hang out. But have a wonderful week. I will see you soon. Love and light.